When I think about all of the resources that I've leveraged over the last couple of years, it's consistency of saying to do this one thing that I have not done. Reach out to my clients.
When did you learn to stop trusting yourself? When did you start second guessing you?
Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy.
Hey guys, it's Ashley Kirkwood with the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast. We are here with Kendra today for another incredible coaching episode. So y'all already know how it goes. Get your pens, get your papers, get all your business questions ready and follow along. And if you have a question during this episode, drop it in the chat and you know it's going to be good. So go ahead and share it with 3 people. That way we can spread the word of what we're doing here. Kendra, welcome to the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast.
Thank you, Ashley, for being here.
Of course. And so give us your full name and also your company name and tell the audience what you do.
Okay, I'm Kendra Nelson. I'm the CEO and founder of Simply Find Your Way. I've been in business for about a year. My background is in project management and finance for over 20 plus years. And I help career professionals, entrepreneurs leverage smart tech like AI to streamline their business, reclaim their time so they can focus on what matters most in their work lives and their business so they can make more money.
I love that. And what is your biggest business challenge that you're bringing to the Speak Your Way to Cash hot seat?
My biggest challenge is committing to a revenue generating offer so that I can meet my financial situation at the moment while also aligning with my passions, which is to help aspiring and early career professionals, empower them with resources and tools so that they can be successful.
Okay, now let me ask you this. What are your gifts?
I have the gift of teaching, and I have the gift of teaching people how to do things simply when it comes to tools and technology. I have the gift of, my gift is teaching and being able to adapt to change. So I'm the person that is the glass half full versus the glass half empty person. So I'm looking at the opportunities and looking at from a strategic point of view, then also taking in what's the best outcome or opportunity for them.
Okay, and do you put others before yourself a lot?
Of course I do. Of course I do. It's one of the largest challenges in my business, well, in my career, in my life period, because it has it was my why in my career. My why was my family, making sure that I'm successful in my career so I can take care of my family. It was my why, and it's still my why in my business, so I can also have legacy and be able to take care of my aging parents and making sure there's a legacy left for my future grandkids. There's none in the picture right now, but for what's to come. And so oftentimes that means not doing what Kendra really wants to do. That's how my career started. I did not really want to have a career in accounting and finance, but it was one of those things where you get the advice from your parents and your loved ones saying, make sure you take a job that's going to be able to make you make money so you can take care of things. And so that's what I did.
And what is the last thing you've done that is purely for you?
When it comes to my business or just in life?
Period.
The biggest thing that I've done over the last couple of weeks was focus on my mental health and my rest, which is seeing a holistic therapy doctor and just enjoying yoga 3 to 5 days a week. So my level of anxiety has decreased tremendously. And the other thing for me is I created a workbook to help people, and it was something that I enjoyed. I enjoyed doing that. So yeah.
I love that. Now, there are some things, I think one of the hard parts about being a coach is like there's sometimes when you need to help people with strategy. And then there are some times when you have to help people with like soul work,
Right.
right? Because if your spirit isn't right, if your soul isn't right, like you don't feel right within, it affects the way you implement the strategy. What I'm sensing from you, and I don't know if this is true or not, is that there are some confidence and some ideologies that you have around like a fear of being selfish that's keeping you from doing what you need to do in your business?
That can be right, because that's probably spot on. Because when I think about all of the resources that I've leveraged over the last couple of years, it's consistency of saying to do this one thing that I have not done, which is reach out to my clients, which is ask people for the sale, which is you have all these great ideas. And I even asked my bestie, ChatGPT AI, to roast me, and it told me you have all these years of experience and what are you sitting on and waiting? Just go out and do the thing. But I keep asking myself, what is that roadblock? What is really stopping me from asking? Because I am the butterfly. I'm the social butterfly. I never meet a stranger. So I'm like, you talk about your husband, I'm like that. I'm in the room to networking and I know about your family history and everything else. So what is stopping me from asking people that I truly know in my network that support me, respect me, and even people I meet today to say, can you have a few minutes and let me tell you about my business and what I do and how can I help you? Or reach out to them in the DMs on LinkedIn or Instagram. And for the life of me, I don't know what is stopping me from doing. Like I do webinars. It's confidence.
Here's what it is. And you know this. Typically, my default is consultative coaching. So I will just be like, tell me your issue. This is what you're going to do. Map it out on the board. And y'all who watch these coaching episodes have saw me get busy on that board. But with you, what we want to do, what I feel like we should do is more intuitive coaching. So I want you to tell me what is stopping you. I think you said it before. What is stopping you from growing your business right now?
It's the confidence that I have the right offer. It's the confidence that I have, will people actually pay for it, right? And is it something that they need? And that, as I'm saying that, that's also a load of bull because people have people have attended my webinars and they have paid for my services.
Well,
And but it's like, okay, well, what's stopping you from asking more people or actually going after it instead of it just coming to you?
can I ask you a personal question?
Yes.
When did you learn to stop trusting yourself? Like, when was it that you were like, when did you start second guessing you? Because you know, when we're kids, we have like that intuitive, like, I could be anything and I could do anything and I could do this and I could do this, I could do, and they're so excited about everything. And even if they fall down, they still get up. But there's typically something that happens or there's a moment where we kind of learn to like, oh, maybe I need somebody else's validation for this. Can you pinpoint when that was for you?
I'm going to say it was my experience in corporate. Because you do all the work and you focus on the right things and you get results, and then you're told that's not the right result, or that's not the impact that I was looking to see, or you get compared to other people that are along the same either education or experience or role level, and you're saying you're not. They're saying you're not like them. So that confidence kind of goes down because even though you've done these great things and you've made some good deliverables and accomplishments, it wasn't enough.
And it wasn't enough for who?
It wasn't enough for the manager at the time. It was, I remember a manager telling me that you have something special and you don't know what that is, but you're not like such and such. You should be more like this person, like your peers. I'm like, well, who is it? I was trying to figure out like who is this person talking about?
So the fact that you remember that conversation, was there ever a time like when you were younger where you compared yourself to others?
Of course. When I was growing up, I always wanted to be like the kids in the other neighborhoods where they were outside late at night. Not late. They were outside and my mom was like, "No, you need to get back in the house when the lights go off. Come on the street." And I was like, "But they can do those things. Why can't I?" In hindsight, looking back, my mother did those things to protect me, right? To keep me safe. But I wanted to be like those kids. They were able to go to the parties and hang out on the streets and play for longer hours, and I had to go home.
Okay. Yeah, I was definitely a get in the house. You're not spending the night over their house. Okay.
Right, right,
Like at all. Oh,
right,
we're related. They're our cousins. I don't care. You're coming
right,
home.
right, right.
So I relate to that. So here's an interesting thing. The first conversation you recall was a conversation where you were compared. Then it was really easy for you to remember how you compared yourself when you were younger. One of the things I find in business with entrepreneurs, when we can't instinctively move fast in the direction we know we should be going in, it's typically because of comparison. Like, well, if I were to do it, it wouldn't be as good as, and if I were to do it, I don't know if I should, and if I were to do it, I don't know if you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's one of those things where like that can hold you back, especially if you're constantly seeing people who you identify as either your peers or maybe a little bit ahead of you or behind you, but they're doing something you want to do.
Right.
So do you still deal with a little bit of that comparison?
I do. Even when I use my bestie AI tools, ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude, and I sit there and I say, I'm not going to rewrite this or ask you the question 50 million times. And I'll put in a prompt to say, okay, keep me honest here. Don't let me review this or do this or ask you more questions more than 3 times to put a cap on it, because I'm like, I have to get it right before I post that whatever I'm writing, either post it on social media or whatever reason I'm using it for communication. I'm trying to get it just right, and I'll go through iterations instead of saying the first. And normally it's the first one that's right. Normally I go back to the very first one and say, okay, this was it.
But what makes something right?
You know, that's a good question. How do I know it's right if I don't have any data to prove that it is or responsive? I think it's the data, it's the rightness in my head thinking, going back to, okay, maybe it should be like such and such, or maybe it should be like such and such, and that way it's right and it'll be more accepted or received by my audience.
Okay, so we got a couple things here. We got like, maybe it'll be right if it's received by my audience. Maybe it'll be right if this, but it's like, what if it's right if you determine it's right? Because the same way in your old job, your manager told you what was right because he was in the position of authority. I don't know if you realize it yet, but you are now in that position of authority. You determine the standard now. So you determine what's right.
Yeah.
And chat doesn't dictate to you, you dictate to it.
This is very true.
So it's like, it works for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you want to have it revise things 100 times, it doesn't really, there are no rules outside of the rules that you set for the company. Now, there are laws, but the rules that you set for the company are yours. So you determine what's right.
Yeah. That probably is something I didn't think about, whether it's I'm setting the stage for it or I'm setting the parameters around everything. I haven't looked at it that way. So looked at it as, okay, this is the blueprint. I'm following someone else's blueprint.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that this blueprint is the way it should go. If I do it this way, I'll get more people to comment on my post. I'll get more people in my webinar because I'm following someone else's blueprint and not realizing, like you said, that I'm creating the blueprint on my own because what works for someone else may not work for me.
And you may not need a whole lot of people to comment on your post for it to be a post that works.
Huh.
We have had posts, like when we did the Speak Get Ready Cash tour, those posts 1 like, 2 likes, 3 likes. But the tour sold out
Wow.
because they were watching, they just weren't liking,
Wow.
but they were buying.
Wow.
Like hundreds of people on the wait list, 2 likes, 3 likes, 0 likes. We did a post yesterday, it had 6 likes, but that post got me 7 leads.
Wow. Wow.
And I have 100,000 plus followers, I had 6 likes.
Yeah.
But vanity metrics, the metrics that people can see are comments, likes, are they subscribing? And here is the sneaky, insidious thing about comparison. Comparison is really a way for us to ensure that we don't get rejected. So as long as we're like them and they don't look like they're getting rejected, we won't get rejected. So we compare to protect ourselves from a rejection that makes us feel hurt.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, Everybody watching this video right now has insecurities.
Yeah.
I don't care if y'all tell me in the comments or not, but let me know. If you bold, let me know one insecurity you got in the comments. Let my sister Kendra know she is not alone. I have insecurities. One of my insecurities is I am a control freak, and I'm a control freak because I want it to be perfect, and I want it to be perfect because I don't want to look bad in front of others.
Yeah.
That's an insecurity.
Yeah.
It's one that because I have named and because I know it, I can now police that behavior.
Right.
I can now say,
Right.
you're letting your insecurity drive you right now, Ashley. You're not letting the highest version of you make this decision. You're letting the insecure woman, the insecure girl in you make the decision.
That's so true. That's so true. That's so true.
We don't know what's right.
No, we don't.
I mean, we set what's right. We determine what's right.
And it's really, really funny because when I do coach clients and I talk about the same thing about my favorite line, it doesn't matter what people say, they're going to talk about you, whether you're right or whether you're wrong. They're still going to talk about you. Just do it. And sometimes it's hard for me to swallow my own advice to myself to say, they're going to talk about you whether they like it. They're going to talk about you whether they don't like it. It's whether or not you made an impact. Did you really help somebody with what you were putting out there, or what are you helping them with either in their business or either giving them back their time or teaching them how to use a tool that is helpful for them? Did it work? That's most important. And sometimes when I think about that for myself, I still get caught up with, okay, they're gonna say something bad about me. That's the little kid being rejected.
Yeah. And I was bullied. So like, I totally get like, I think I would always, I remember talking back to my bullies, but I was definitely bullied growing up. So I had a roller book bag. I used to eat boiled eggs on the bus. My husband still hates that I eat boiled eggs. He said it stinks so bad, but like, I did not care. I was a boiled egg and turkey bacon girl. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And roller book bag, made sure my back didn't hurt because I carried all my books to school. And I was totally bullied. And I'll tell you this, I've had people who were bullies come back and apologize in adulthood.
Yeah.
So it's just...
It's crazy how that really affects you in your adulthood, because and you see your bullies today, and the bullies today are seeing how you're doing. But yeah, I was bullied when I was a kid. What people pay for right now are these big luscious lips. So I was bullied about my lips, and that made me feel insecure. And so now, years later, to find out the person who was one of the people that was bullying me really liked me, right? Years later, but that is a way of thinking about, what do people say? How are they thinking about me? How are they looking at
So
me?
that's actually a great point, because one of the people that bullied you actually had a crush on you. And that's interesting because their behavior didn't really exemplify their intention. And in business, behavior doesn't always exemplify intention. So they may like your post, but not give it a like. They may buy from you, but not tell everybody about it.
Yeah.
They may have loved your services and not give you a testimonial. So behavior doesn't always indicate intention. And in business, because we like the endorphins that are released when someone likes a post or when someone tells everyone that they loved us and all of that, we will modify our behavior based on intentions that we don't know.
Yeah, it's sort of like validation.
It is like validation,
Yeah.
but that's why you have to, validation is for parking tickets. Data is what drives business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Validate this
Yes.
parking ticket. So I don't want to pay for parking if I don't have to. But I'm going to need some data to determine my business decisions. And what I hear you saying is that you are stopping yourself from getting the data
Yeah.
in anticipation of a rejection that hasn't happened because you haven't done the activities long enough to get the data.
Yeah, exactly. And I know data makes all decision. I know that that's what I need. If I don't put it out there, I'm not going to get the data to make a decision, whether it's right or wrong. Yet my own internal roadblock is moving me from not getting out there to do it, to getting that data.
Yeah. There's a book you should read, The Gift of Rejection by Nona Jones. It's a really good book, and she really breaks down a framework for how to almost like self-manage those thoughts of rejection and those feelings of rejection. But it's a really good book, so I'd recommend that you read it. It's a very good book on rejection. Another book is Rejection Proof. It's by a guy whose name I'm going to totally butcher. so I'm not even going to try it. But it's rejection proof. It's going to have a little umbrella on the front, I think. So that's the other book that I'd recommend you read. But you are practically, because I want everyone to leave with practical steps. Practically, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to move the goalpost.
Okay.
When you're trying to make your first $100,000 in your business,
Okay.
and even beyond, the goalpost has to be activity goals, not just revenue goals. So maybe your revenue goal is like, what's your revenue goal for 2024?
2024 was 30K
That's your revenue goal
for the quarter.
for the quarter.
Yeah, so 120.
Okay, so 120 for 2024.
Yes.
Okay, are you tracking towards that?
No.
Okay, so revenue goal 120. But the goal that matters more than the revenue goal is the activity goals, because activity goals drive revenue goals. Okay, I'm gonna show you this.
Okay.
They drive your revenue goals. This is what determines whether or not you're gonna reach your revenue goals.
Okay.
So if someone tells me, oh my gosh, my goal is $120,000, and I will ask them next, okay, what's your sales process? So for you, how do you get clients?
Through my webinars and through referrals.
Okay, great. Webinars and referrals. Great. What's the price of the offer that you sell on webinars?
So I have a gateway offer for a 4-week AI accelerator, smart money actions for $497.
Okay, great. How many times do you do webinars per year?
Once a month.
Once a
12.
month. Okay, you do 12 webinars a year. What is the average amount of people who's on those webinars?
About 3 people.
Okay. Okay, so you do 12 webinars a year, 3 people on the webinar per year. Of the 3 people on the webinar, how many typically take the offer?
1.
Okay.
Maybe 1.
1 person. So that's about a third, which is good. Good conversion rate. Okay. 12 webinars a year, 3 people on the webinar, 1 person takes the offer. So that means in a year, you would make 12 sales at $497 just from this, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, what is $497 times 12?
That's like $6,000,
Okay.
roughly.
Okay. Yep. Around there. So let's just round it up. Let's say 6K. Okay. Right now, your activities are, I do webinars once a month. Those webinars produce these results. But before the webinar, what we need to do, because if you can keep converting at a third of everyone on your webinars can buy, how do these 3 people learn about the webinar?
Some through social media, some of my social media posts on LinkedIn. I'm not as consistent on Facebook, but I do post on Facebook as well.
How many times are you posting on LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, I post about 3 to 4 times per week.
Okay. What about Facebook?
Facebook, the last couple of months, probably lower than that, maybe 3, saying about 3 times a week.
Okay.
Not consistent.
What about Instagram?
Instagram, the Facebook posts are simultaneously posting to IG, but it's posting so about 3 times the same.
Okay. And now for your webinars, how many people register?
People registering, like the last webinar, maybe about 10 people, between 7 to 8 people will register for the webinar.
Okay, so let's now we got some good data, right? This is data. 10 people register, 3 people show up. That's a 30% show up rate, which is good. Now, if all these people are organic, we want to get that show up rate to probably like 40, 50%. But 30% is not bad. Of the 3 people that are on, all of them stay on the whole time?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. So then your stick rate, that's called a stick rate. Your stick rate is great. All the way through the pitch, 3 people, that's good.
Yes.
A third of the people that hear the pitch actually buy, which could mean that your pitch is good. I haven't seen it all the way, but it could mean that your pitch is good. Now, if you want to make your pitch better, you should come to Millions from the Stage. That's coming up. I don't know when that's coming up, but it's coming up soon, and it's in Atlanta. And that teaches you how to do good pitches and sell from the stage. So these numbers are not, the conversion numbers are not the problem. So 10 to 3, typical. 3 to 1 buyer, typical. The problem is this front end number right here. This is where the big opportunity lies. Now, Activity goals are, what do we do to fill the webinars? Right now, it's like posting on LinkedIn 4 times a week, posting on Facebook 3 times a week, which also cross-posts to Instagram. Here's the things that we could do. One, we could look at these posts and see how we can make these posts better.
Okay.
So if you don't increase volume, you need to increase quality, right? So that's one. Your activity goals should be to do the activities that get 100 people registered for your next webinar. So if 3 to 4 posts is getting you 10 people registered, then possibly more posts or a higher quality post or a combination of both could get you even more people registered.
Okay.
Do all of your posts have a call to action to register for the webinar?
Not all the posts.
How many posts do?
I would say maybe half. Well, let me just be honest. So I start doing a CTA when it's like maybe 2 weeks out before the webinar. So not all the posts. So like I post consistently for 3 to 4 weeks, just providing value information. But then when it's like 2 weeks before the webinar, then I'll start doing with a CTA on all of the posts.
And do you do any DMing, like DMing on LinkedIn to invite people?
No.
Okay, so if LinkedIn is your main driver of revenue, then we want to double down on LinkedIn and we want to make Facebook and Instagram secondary drivers. So this is not about just doing more of everything. Because you have data, we want to follow what the data is telling us, which is
Okay.
LinkedIn is a really good driver. Now, this means we want to post daily on LinkedIn. Maybe not Saturday and Sunday, but like 5 days a week. And maybe we post twice a day on LinkedIn. And if you're posting 2 weeks out to get 10 people registered, let's do the whole month. Like, we know we're having a monthly webinar, so let's keep driving people to that webinar all month. Give yourself a 3 to 4 week runway. Do you do any LinkedIn live videos?
No.
Okay, so we're not even fully leveraging this platform. So I would be DMing my current followers and doing LinkedIn lives at least once a week, and I'd be DMing my followers every day. I don't know what the threshold is. Maybe you could DM 20 a day, 10 a day, 15 a day. Don't get your account at risk, but I would look up what that threshold is. And another thing you could do is, instead of just DMing, you could send them LinkedIn voice notes from your phone.
Right.
So you go to them and say, hey, it's me. We've been following each other for a while. I have an AI interactive session coming up. It's great for corporate professionals like yourself who are interested in leveraging AI to get more out of a workday. Or it's great for entrepreneurs like you who are looking to get more out of the workday. And the best part, it's totally free. So can you come, or do you know anyone who may find value in this?
Right.
And then maybe you wait to send them the link until they respond. So it's
Right.
like, hey, if you will find value in this, let me know, and I'd be happy to send you the link.
Yeah.
So that's something that you can do too, right? So fully leverage LinkedIn. LinkedIn articles. Are you using LinkedIn articles?
No.
Okay, so this is what activity goals will look like, right? So it's, I'm going to do 6 LinkedIn posts a week.
Okay.
I'm going to do 1 LinkedIn live every week. And I'm going to do 50 LinkedIn DMs every week. And this is all going to drive people to the webinar. Have you ever wondered what you would put in an offer to corporate? Well, for one day, I'm going to get with you and we are going to craft out your corporate offer, okay? We're doing the Your Corporate Offer Summit. And this is a summit where if you are someone who wants to sell to corporations, but you're wondering what to sell, then you need to make sure you're in the building, because we are going to craft your $25,000 corporate offer together for free virtually. So no matter where you are in the world, you will be able to attend. Get your free ticket via the link in the description, and I want to see you there. So activity goals are literally, what are the activities that I have full control over? Some people be like, oh, I didn't hit my revenue goal, but did you hit your activity goals?
Right.
And it's like, oh, I didn't have activity goals. I'm like, that's why you give up too soon. Because if it's all about the revenue and you made $6K in a year, you're like, oh, I'm quitting.
Yeah,
I'm too far from the goal.
Yeah.
But if it's like, I know that it's going to work because I did 6 LinkedIn posts, 1 LinkedIn live, 50 LinkedIn DMs. I'm looking at the responses, and then based on the LinkedIn DMs they respond to, I'm doing more DMs like that. Based on the lives that had highest attendance, I'm doing more lives like that. Now I am in complete control over whether or not I'm doing the right activities.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And so this is what you commit to, and you fill up those webinars, and you need to raise the price of this. Everyone pays in full?
No, they do have.
Nah, this needs to be at least $9.97. What all do they get?
So they get an AI audit of their business. They get
That's with you one-on-one?
yes.
Oh no. Mm-mm. No, this is just 1997 now. And when you say an AI audit of your business, what does that all
It's
entail?
strategically looking at what the problem they want to solve with AI tools, so that I can help them identify which tools will be better for them to use. So you have the gamut of AI tools to use for several different things. So if there's a specific problem in their business that they want to automate or that they want to use AI for, then we focus on that, and then we spend the rest of the 3 weeks focusing on which tools to use and which process to automate with AI or a tech tool.
So this isn't a course. This is a program.
Yeah.
It's a 30-day program to help you automate and operationalize your business using AI tools.
Yes.
Really, you should do it like, hey, the average team member in the US is paid, $25,000 a year. I'm going to show you how you can replace that with technology that'll cost you less than $100 a month.
Yeah.
Like, that's the pitch. It's like, would you pay me $5,000 to help you save $100,000 in salary expenses?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like, of course I would,
Yeah.
right? Especially if AI could like check emails, put stuff on the calendar, They have AI tools for that?
Write your proposals. Yes. I've had a client that used AI tool to write their grant proposals that they were going to hire somebody to do that they did themselves.
Yes, y'all better get in before we raise these prices. That's what I'm saying, okay? So then that's included. The AI audit, you give them an action plan of what to hire. Do you set up the tools?
Yes. No, I work with them to set up the tools.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many calls do they get with you?
They get 2 calls.
Okay, awesome. So they get 2 calls with you, and then do they get any portals or anything on the back end?
No, I haven't set up any portals or back end yet.
Okay, so it's really consulting.
Yeah.
So you're selling AI consulting and operationalizing their business. Yeah. So I would say I would sell it at $19.97, and what you can do on your webinars is if they buy it live on that webinar, you can give them it for $14.97. Right. So I would set a higher rate, maybe even $24.97. It doesn't really matter. These prices don't really matter. What matters is that you never charge more than the value. That's what matters. Because if the value is $100K and you're charging $100K, well, then they're basically in the same position.
Right.
They didn't get anything.
Right.
You always want your clients to get value. You don't want to charge more than the value, but you do want to charge in a way where you don't rob the market of your value. Here's what I mean by that. If you keep charging $4.97 and you do all this stuff and then you get 100 people in there and then you got to do 100 calls, and you got to do, so if you get 100 people in there with your close rate, you would get 33 new clients if you kept closing about a third. I think that's right. Yeah. So you would get 33 new clients. If that happens, are you going to be happy with this rate serving 33 new clients
Of course not.
for 30 days?
Of course not.
So that is the thing, right? Making sure that you are not robbing the market of your services because you undercharge, which means you're going to get out of the market, and then we are all robbed of your brilliance because now we have someone who should be serving us outside of serving us because they undercharge and now they tired and they can't work with nobody else. And that's what happens when we undercharge, is we rob the market of our services.
Wow.
And it's not fair to every client who would pay the real rate. So you got to work on these prices big time. $19.97 feels low, but this feels like a rate that you'll say. Will you say $19.97 on your next webinar?
I will say it. I think my thought process was like, oh, that's my gateway offer. It's easy for them. It's an easy sell to maybe.
And what's your back end offer?
My backup is my 90-day transformation program.
And how much is that?
That is $6,000.
Okay. And how many people have taken that?
None. I haven't converted yet.
How many have you offered it to?
1.
Okay. So then we don't got enough data again,
Yeah.
right? And so we need to fill this up. $19.97 is a really good way, because what can happen is you just have them put you on retainer. You would become an outside AI consultant for $2K a month. So you're constantly helping them operationalize AI. And that's what you do.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's fine, right? Like that's, you could still sell a $6K offer. It could be $2K a month for at least 3 months, and I am your outsourced AI consultant. I'm walking with you every step of the way as you implement and operationalize these tools that help you train the AI, like whatever that looks like for you, but you could just be a fractional chief AI officer.
You told me that.
Yeah. I told you on lunch, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't, for corporate, it shouldn't be no $2K a month, but You know, if you're doing it for small businesses, maybe it's $2K a month. But it can't just, no. Because this is personalized. Well, this is working with you for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
So you need to set activity goals, even for your referrals. How many times do you ask people for referrals?
In my newsletter, I do, but reaching out to people and asking them for a referral, no, I don't.
Never?
Um,
It's giving never. It's giving.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
giving never.
If I have, if the answer's in the pause.
Let me try to find that one time. That one time,
The answer is in the pause.
I think one time I did ask somebody. So with your referrals, what you need to do before the holidays is say, hey, I loved working with you. Can you help me reach my 2024 goals by referring me to 2 people who I can help? And I will do a complimentary audit with them. Now, I don't think you should do a full audit. I think you should do a sales call with them. And it should be, hey, is there any area where you would like to replace human capital with artificial intelligence?
Yes.
Is there anywhere where there is waste? Is there anywhere where there's, and you ask them qualifying questions to see whether or not they are properly positioned for your offer, and then you close them.
Okay.
That's what I would recommend.
That's comfortable.
Yeah, so you could do that and then get you some referrals in before the new year and make some revenue this year. But you're gonna need to set activity goals, because only if I ask you how many people are on your webinar, how many times you do a webinar, how many times a month you do it, I already know your annual revenue. Right? So a revenue goal means nothing without activity goals. Because without activity goals, we can't move those activity goals to meet the revenue goal. And that's the visual that I want you to have, is that your vehicle for reaching this revenue goal is your activity goals. These goals drive you here. So if you don't have a written plan of what you're going to do every week, every month, and every year to hit that, this is a dream, not a goal.
That's an ouch.
My dad's a pastor. He'd be like, if you can't say amen, say ouch. But girlfriend, what's great is your conversion numbers. People are showing up. With 10 people register, if we had 10 people register for something, we may get nobody show up. You got 10 people registered, 3 people are showing up. Out of the 3 people, you're making a sale every time.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. So you just need more people. People love AI. They're interested in AI. Companies are interested in AI.
Yeah.
So this is really just about getting more people here, and then we didn't even have time to talk about direct outreach. So I would look at, I don't know if you're in the membership or not. If you're not, look into the membership and pitch companies on AI training.
Okay.
Pitch them directly on AI training, because that would be really good for you as well. But yeah. So what are you going to do differently as a result of this? Let me know.
So step 1 is I need to write down my activity goals.
Yes.
Not just write them down, then I need to act on it.
Yes.
So that kind of clears out the barrier of asking, why am I not DMing people? Why am I not reaching out for the sale? I think this is spot on. I say that spot on. Spot on, because now I see the vehicle, the actual wheels in motion to get there. That 3 to 4 times a week ain't happening to get more volume for people to convert. And then my confidence, 497 was a confidence number to say, okay, people think that it's too expensive. Oh, I don't have that much money to spend on this AI training. But if I'm really offering in what you say to help them replace human capital, and then I don't share the stories. I have testimonials. I have people that have done things, and it's not easily found, so people can say, okay, this is what my clients have done. So I have that testimony that where a client did not think about hiring that second person and used the AI tools to do it themselves. And people don't know it. So
Just tell the story.
Yeah.
And more importantly, tell your story. I think that sometimes we give ourselves way too much. We work too much. You know what I mean? You don't always need, for everyone out there, I don't have testimonials. No, you don't need testimonials. That's just the truth. We did a study, an actual study, Speak Your Way to Cash commissioned research on what was the #1 reason people bought from experts.
Right.
Testimonials was almost dead last.
Wow.
The #1 reason was expertise. Well, how do our customers know our expertise? Because we tell them.
Yeah. Okay. So that means,
as long as you show that you are an expert in this, you can help them with this. They're not asking for testimonials. I just did a call with a corporation, 24,000 employees. They literally, like today, did this call. They literally were like, yo, anywhere we can see you speak? And I was like, cool. They didn't ask like for testimonials. They were just like, how can we see what you do?
Yeah. And I love what I do.
Yeah. So you have testimonials, so leverage them, but you don't need that to get the sale. You don't need anything else. What you need is to trust yourself.
Yeah. I need to be in the decision-making position as a CEO manager and not the woman that was working at a company relying on a manager to tell me who I should be and what I should do.
And don't let that manager make all your decisions for the rest of your life.
Yes.
When someone does something negative to us and we constantly act out of the negativity that they planted within us, we are
Yes.
allowing someone who does not deserve it to be in the driver's seat of our life.
Yes. Yes.
We cannot let that happen. And, the Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and things in high. So it's like, it's not even them no ways. And we don't even know what their intentions were. Their intentions may have really been to help you. Their intentions may have really been, well, this person's doing good. Like maybe you should look at them. That we put intention on behavior when behavior doesn't always match intention.
Yeah.
Because we don't know intention.
Yeah.
And so like release them. And I'll let you borrow a prayer that I've been praying recently. Like, God, please don't let my insecurities mess up my blessings.
I love that.
Like I literally, and when I tell you, I go to
love
God
that.
and I think about all the areas where I could be insecure or where I feel like I'm not good enough or where I feel like I'm not, I'm not smart enough or I'm not qualified enough. And there are still areas where I feel like that. Like when I first started thinking, okay, I'm going to talk more about my faith. I was like, okay, I got to go to seminary then because I can't be just out here talking about my faith and then I ain't got no seminary degree. And literally the Holy Spirit was like, why do you think you need to go to school for another 6 years? You are a lawyer. You understand how to interpret every major statute. You have a
Right.
framework for doing that. You can interpret the Bible.
Right. Because people need what you already know.
Yes.
And
But it's an insecurity. It's a safety blanket. And I think the best thing we can do is ask God to reveal our hearts to us.
yes.
I'm always like, show me the hearts of people around me. But I'm like, but don't leave mine out.
I know that's right.
Show me me. Show me all the issues, all the problems, all the insecurities, all of the filth that I am still hoarding in the crevices of my heart. So that
Yes.
I can be real and I can be authentic and I can be impactful and I can be used by you to do what you want me to do.
Yeah.
And when you go to God like that, I feel like if I can be honest and transparent with the God who made me, then I don't care as much. I won't say I don't care at all, but that care and concern that I have for being accepted and I hope they like me and all of that, like that goes down when I'm like, no, I am empowered by the God who created heaven and earth. Heaven, earth, all the animals here, and yet he created me too.
Right.
And he loves me and he doesn't judge me when I go to him.
Right.
So how can I even dare be
Right.
fearful of the judgment of a mere mortal
Right.
when a supernatural God loves me?
Right. Right.
That's how you gotta look at it.
Yeah.
These out here, we mere mortals. They're not infallible beings. They don't deserve to judge you and to hold your gifts back from the rest of us who need them.
I receive all of that, Ashley.
Yes. Well, tell people how they can find you before your prices go up, honey, because you know they're going up.
You can find me on LinkedIn, Kendra Nelson, and Facebook and Instagram as Kendra Nelson. I have an upcoming webinar, Simple AI Hacks to Win Back Your Day. I'll be sure to share the link with Ashley so I can see you there.
Absolutely. I love that. Okay, you guys. So this was another impactful episode of the Speak Get Ready Cash podcast. If you are someone who's an entrepreneur and you need community, you need sales strategies, you need sales tips, you was taking notes vigorously, you need to join the Pitch Your Ready Cash membership and take our sales training so that you can directly reach out to your customers the same way we mapped out how Kendra can do that for her customers. You can go to pitchyourreadycash.com to join the membership. And I want to see you at our next event. I will post all the links in the show notes. Stay tuned for next time.
Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. I need energy, need only good people that's around me. All the faith you can give, that's the recipe.